let's shift gears. Let's talk about that other primetime matchup that was taking place in Happy Valley. The Penn State Whiteout, and Oregon rolls in, takes down Penn State, double overtime thriller, instant classic of a game, 30-24, the final score. Dan Lanning and the Ducks get it done. Oh, what an awesome football game. These were two tremendous football games, period. And this one in particular, man, first half stalemate. We were texting like, man, this is a bit of a boring football game at the break. Not that we don't love defense, but this is a mess in the middle of the field. Felt like a soccer game. And then it really turned up a notch. I got to say, it almost felt like, listen, Oregon was the better team and deserved to win. So I'm almost glad in that sense that they won, because for 3.5 quarters of this game, they looked like the better team throughout. Mm-hmm. And then they did win the football game. That being said, I felt like they had a couple opportunities to put Penn State away and didn't. And to James Franklin and Penn State's credit, they just hung in there. And then boom, when it was time to go, they went. They went. So this was a heck of a football game, man. Want to get your thoughts on it. Biggest thing that stood out to me as far as a number to support the fact that I thought Oregon was the better team for 3.5 quarters. They outgained Penn State 424 to 276. Mm-hmm. I mean, that tells you a lot of what you need to know as far as Oregon being the better team.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, Gio, I have so much less to talk about here because I thought Oregon should have won the game by double digits in regulation, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I mean,
I agree.
They go for that fourth down, up by 7, right? Like deep in Penn State territory instead of going for the field goal. They score untouched on the running play on the beautiful design, right? Penn State, I don't know if the safety or linebacker just played it too far outside. The middle of the field was wide open for the running back to score. The camera pans to Dan Lanning. He's like, it's over. And I was like, well, he better hope that it's over. And to that point, like up to that point in the game, I was like, there's no way Penn State comes back from this because they are refusing to let Drew Aller rip it. They had nothing going downfield, and I couldn't tell if it was because they didn't want to throw the ball downfield or because Oregon was clamping up. Well, it turns out they just didn't want to, because on the next drive, down by 14, finally they had to have a sense of urgency. They let Drew Aller rip it, and they scored instantly.
Yeah.
And he dropped that beautiful pass.
That was a heck of a throw.
Right in the bucket to Devontae Ross, who, listen, we had to hear all offseason, and you honestly preached it when you were talking about how Penn State was, I think, your preseason national champ, because they remade that wide receiver room with all those transfers. Dude, they've done nothing, and they are not doing anything in a game like this. They were brought in to be the difference maker in a game like this, and they weren't.
But they're not using them.
Exactly. I don't know why. I feel like the coaching staff does not trust Drew Aller.
Yeah.
And I think you understand why in a game like this, where you see the epic highs and epic lows of the Drew Aller roller coaster. Yeah. But to that, on the flip side, like, Nick Singleton did nothing in this game. I think the stat line is 11 carries for 21 yards.
Katron Allen was the better back in this game.
Katron Allen was a difference maker down the stretch, and on the game tying drive, I think, and then the first drive of overtime where they took the lead, like, they really leaned on him.
They used him, yeah.
But then obviously Drew Aller throws the pick in double overtime and it's game over. But Oregon, in my opinion, was such a better team in this game. I thought if Penn State won it, it was going to be the steal of all steals, because they did not deserve to win it with the way they coached, with the way they executed, with the way that they kind of went about their business, man. Oregon was moving the ball pretty well. If it wasn't for a missed field goal, they probably would have won in regulation. I thought Dante Moore played an absolutely stellar game. You talk about best quarterbacks in college football, his name has to be in the conversation. He just made play after play. And you made that point about Ty Simpson staying here. Man, Dante Moore did not blink. He was here the whole time as well. For a kid his age, that is really, really impressive. Playing essentially your first real road game of the year, where they were absolutely silencing that whiteout crowd from the get-go. I mean, the first half they were kind of feeling each other out, right? We have that adage about heavyweight boxers taking the first few rounds to just kind of get a sense of what the other guy's up to. That's what this first half was. And then I thought that third quarter and early in the fourth, Oregon just dominated. And they ran the ball extremely effectively. Dante Moore was awesome. Decorian Moore, I think, continues to be one of the best freshmen, definitely the best freshman receiver, I think, in college football this year. So I have so much less to say, Gio, because I just feel like Oregon clearly was the better team in this game. Clearly. Like, if Georgia had beaten Alabama, it would have been a steal-ish. If Penn State had won this game, it would have been highway robbery.
Yeah.
And granted, Oregon let them back in it at the tail end, but this proved we both had Oregon winning this game. I didn't think it would be as emphatic as it was. And I know that the circumstance and scoreboard doesn't say it was emphatic, but if you watch the game, man, they really pushed Penn State around.
I genuinely, outside of a couple of plays, and you mentioned the highs and the lows of Drew Aller, I genuinely think that Drew Aller is holding the team back.
Yeah, I agree. I think dude, I saw a tweet that was like, I bet Penn State secretly wanted Drew Aller to go pro last year so they could start Prebula this year. But instead, Prebula's at Missouri playing really well.
Yeah.
Cooking. And they're dealing with Drew Aller, who, to your point, is holding the team back.
Yeah.
He puts a ceiling on the offense, not because of his talent, but because of his decision making. And it's been a problem. Dude, the dude is a third-year starter. This cannot possibly still be happening, but it is.
I thought the game was over when Oregon goes on, and you had touched on it. The 10-play, 75-yard scoring drive to go up 17-3. I thought it was over at that point, right? Because you're already deep into this game. Like, this game did not get humming. It wasn't like, okay, after halftime it got humming. No, it got humming with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And remember, what got it going was Whittington's fumble that Penn State took away, and then they take the fumble away. Oregon ends up scoring a touchdown instead. You got the Hill touchdown on the screen pass. He gets in for 6. I will say, I know they say that his knee touched the tops of the blades of the grass.
That's BS.
I do not think he was down.
Yeah, I thought that was BS.
I was stunned that they overturned that, especially because the ruling on the field was a fumble. So they consider that indisputable video evidence that his knee touched the blades of grass.
I mean,
I was stunned. And it was at Penn State too. Not that matters, but like that atmosphere, the whiteout, you naturally, your subconscious leans into those things.
And I just know there's Oregon fans. I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming if I searched it, it would come true. There's got to be Oregon fans clamoring online that are like, well, Eric Dyer was down in the 2010 national championship game, whatever. Because they still talk about that in Eugene, which is fair. That was a national championship game. But like, Oregon's been involved in this more times than I can count, with a guy being down or not down. I'm stunned that they overturned it. But I guess if the rule is if you come into contact with the ground, then it's over. So I guess I blame the Penn State grounds crew. You gotta mow that lawn, boys.
I just
mow that lawn.
I just don't know how it was undisputable that his knee touches a blade of grass. Like, because his knee was clearly not like fully on the ground.
Yeah, it was. It grazed.
Was hovering.
I don't think he thought he was down. I
still think it's a fumble.
I still think it's a fumble as well. But is that a guarantee that Penn State scores on that drive, or that the game ends any differently?
No, but it would have taken Oregon wouldn't have scored a touchdown there.
I agree. But for me, that's less like the Georgia drop, for example. If the ball is caught, that was 6. It's guaranteed he scores. Yeah. It's guaranteed Georgia.
I can't believe that they dropped the ball.
We have a drop problem across football at both levels, and all levels. But
it's the LED lights.
Maybe, or it's the all quiet on the Western Front soundboard that's ruining everybody's lives. So it's not like that play completely changed things for Penn State, because it was also the third quarter, right? That Georgia play happened in the fourth quarter. But I do think Penn State got robbed on that front. But they have nobody to blame but themselves. And James Franklin is now 4-21 against top 10 opponents in his tenure.
Insane.
They have not beaten a top 10 team since when exactly? Like, I don't know when the last time they did it was. It's been so long.
Buddy, I got a trivia piece for you. James Franklin's 2-21 against AP top 6 opponents, right? There's only one coach in the history of college football with a worse record against AP top 6 opponents. Who is it?
Are they currently coaching?
They are not.
Did they recently get fired?
No.
Worse than 2-21?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to hurt your soul a little bit. Frank Beamer, 2-24.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Frank Beamer of Virginia Tech. I know when I saw that, my jaw hit the floor. And I was going to text it to you, and I held back because I said I want to see his reaction on the show.
Yeah, that does hurt my soul a little bit.
Doesn't
I guess
that
I'm not
hurt?
surprised. But I do think, for what it's worth, I'd love to see the numbers on how many of those games were the Hokies favored in.
Probably not a lot of them.
And so I don't know, can't recall if I was talking to you or somebody else about this. I told myself I was going to snag, and I did, Oregon money line before, early in the day on Saturday. Because so many times I like to wait till kickoff because the wise guy money comes in on a side that I think is the sharp side and I can get it at better value. I was sure that the wise guy money was going to come in on Oregon closer to kickoff. It came in on Penn State. Penn State closed as 4.5-point favorites in this game. Why that was the case, I have no idea. And they once again showed you that they don't have the mental fortitude to win these games. They just, it's a trend, man.
It's a program.
It is a systemic problem. It is a systemic problem in Happy Valley.
That's the perfect way to put it. Yeah. And last point I have on this game is there was actually a point where Oregon, again, had an opportunity to continue to assert themselves, probably pull away further and not let this thing even have a chance at a comeback. Remember the offensive unsportsmanlike conduct that cost the Ducks?
That's true.
They end up having to punt there when they were humming. Could have killed a ton of clock. The way they were moving the ball probably would have scored points. Mm-hmm. And instead you end up having to punt the ball. So, again, things that give Penn State a chance, because that's when Penn State went on its 15-play, 62-yard drive that took 6 minutes and 37 seconds off the clock. If they had won the game, that would have been the drive of the year.
Yeah.
15 plays, darn near 7 minutes to tie the game. I mean, listen to this. Drew Aller, quarterback keeper on 3rd and 9 for 20 yards. Singleton, 4th and 1 conversion. Aller, 4th and 1 conversion. Katron Allen, 3rd and inches conversion to get 1st and goal. And then an awesome play call on the Ross touchdown to even it at 17 all with 30 seconds left. That would have been the drive of the year if they had won this game somehow.
Yeah, and it was hard to think that after that they weren't going to win. They snatched momentum.
Yeah.
And then they scored
I thought they were going to win when it went to overtime. Yeah.
And then they scored like this in overtime. But Oregon, I think, converted a 4th down where Dante Moore scrambled on a 4th and 1 in the first overtime, and then they score. Then they score like this in the second overtime, and then Drew Aller throws a pick. It crumbled so fast for Penn State. 1 play away from winning on a 4th down in overtime, and then 3 plays later, your game is over.
Why Aller threw that into triple coverage? It was more like double coverage with somebody shading. I just didn't see I don't know where that ball was going, because I regardless if Thieneman was there or not, I don't think it was a good choice.
No.
But I will say Dylan Thieneman going up to grab that was a heck of a play. That was why he was one of the biggest safety targets in the portal.
Yep, he played it perfect. He played it perfectly. Shade the flat, then come up. I mean, that's how you play cover 2.
Dude, Oregon almost lost this game because they fumbled in overtime.
And then they got it back.
The last thing, did you think that was targeting? I thought it was targeting.
I did, but who knows what targeting is anymore?
It doesn't matter because Oregon.
What did they say on the broadcast is the hairline of the helmet? I've never heard that phrase in my life.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty much the definition of targeting.
Yeah,
but I
when
do,
a guy
I
looks
do,
like he's getting exploded backwards,
yeah,
that's probably targeting.
I did appreciate, I guess, like the thought of let's not let an officiating decision decide this game. But at the same time, when something's that blatant, you kind of, your hand is forced. So it's like, what way do you go with that? Didn't matter literally at all. Oregon scored a touchdown. The only thing that changed is that kid doesn't have to sit out the first half of next week, really.
That's right.
So didn't really impact anything, but could have been a serious piece of controversy.
It definitely could have been. I think coming out of this game, it's Penn State's the same old Penn State, and now all of a sudden you've got such a little margin for error the rest of the way. We assume they're going to lose to Ohio State. That means they got to win the rest of their games, and they weren't super convincing when they were playing nobody before this game. Now all of a sudden Oregon's got a really interesting thing going. Indiana at Oregon in 2 weeks becomes a fascinating game that I can't wait to watch.
You got two Heisman contending quarterbacks going at it, and Fernando Mendoza, and of course your boy that balled out yesterday. So, or I guess Saturday. The week flies by on you. This was an awesome game. My final takeaway is I think Penn State does not have quarterback play that can win them a national championship,
correct,
or a Big Ten championship for that matter. And I think on the other side, Oregon, we have to look at as serious title contenders. And I also think that they have the front runner for the Heisman right now taking snaps.
Probably.
I think Dante Moore is that good.